welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. So today I just want to talk about not lowering your standards, or stop lowering your standards, shall I say, because I find that a lot of people, including myself, we tend to, if we like something, we may like someone, or we may like a job or something, and we know we deserve better, or we know we can do better, but sometimes we get desperate, or we just want to fit into that small box when we could fit into a much larger box, but we just push ourselves to fit into a smaller box because we don't want to lose the opportunity with whatever that situation is. And so, when you're not living up to your standards, you need to, first of all, you need to know what your standards are, because standards can change for everybody. My standard may be that at 9:30 phone's off, I'm not on the phone. Your standard may be you can call my phone all night, but you gotta be my man or my woman, or you gotta be family, whatever it is. Your standard, you set it for yourself. So that's the first thing. Set your standard and live by your standard. No one can tell you that your standards are wrong. No one can tell you that your standards are ridiculous, because it's for you. Your standard is to protect your body, protect your soul, protect your well-being, protect, the beliefs that you have. So make sure that when you're creating those standards, that it's for you. And we have to be careful though, especially when it comes to dating or being with somebody in general, or making friends. We have to be careful to not allow our preferences to bleed into our standards. Now, you may say, I prefer, friends that, like to go to church, or friends that like to go to the club or whatever, but your standard is they respect you. And maybe that person may like to party the way you do, may like to do the things you do, but they have no respect for you. They lie to you, they manipulate you, they use you, or whatever. And so if you let your preference outshadow your standard, then that's when you have things mixed up too. It's just as bad as not standing up for your own standards, not allowing things into your life that are on that level of your preferences, or what you set for your standards, what standards you have set for yourself. So just make sure that you are aware. You take that time, spend that time with yourself, spend that time with your higher being. Really engage with yourself. Really get to know what you want, what you're looking for, what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate. Really get to know yourself to the core, so then you know what standards you have for yourself. Don't allow it to be lowered just because someone's like, well, I want to be your friend, but I don't want to, I should be able to lie to you sometimes. I should be able to not answer my phone when you're in need sometimes, and you got to respect that. Well, that may be for them. That may be true for them, because maybe that's how they grow. But maybe your standard is, if we're friends, you need to be there for me, just like I'm going to be there for you. If I call you in the middle of the night, know that it's for an emergency, something like that. And so you need those people that you're allowing in your circle as a friend on that level to live up to that standard. Unless, of course, life happens, something may be going on with that person. But I'm just saying, in general, the core standard that you have for yourself and what you would like to have out of your friendships is that. And if that person's like, well, I feel like that's ridiculous, I feel like that's like really overthinking it, I'm not your man, I'm not with you, or whatever. Like, some people, I've heard people say that, like they try to downplay what you feel or what you're asking for from your friend. They try to downplay it like, well, you asking a little bit too much. Like, we not a couple, we just friends, you know what I'm saying? And maybe you're just asking for something, just mild respect, like, you know what I'm saying? And because they don't want to live up to that, they don't want to be held accountable for it, and they don't feel like they should be held accountable for it. They play with your emotions by saying that's ridiculous, you're thinking too much on it, you're taking things too far, and constantly just making you second guess yourself. And then what happens is, sometimes we get so thirsty and so hungry for relationships on any type of levels, because we're human. No human likes to be completely alone, don't have any friends, don't have no family, don't have a relationship. We all want to have somebody, somebody to call on, somebody to hang out with, somebody to be there for us. We all want somebody. So sometimes we do get a little desperate for friendships or relationships or whatever, that we tend to lower our standard just to keep that person around. Like, okay, maybe I am thinking too much. Don't second guess yourself. Honestly, that's the number one worst thing you can do, because then what you're doing when you second guess yourself and you lower your standards for this person, you're going to do it for somebody else, because 9 times out of 10, that person's going to be like, well, I'm friends with this person, or I used to be friends with her, and you know, I had to get into it with her before because I didn't like the way that she was coming at me about me answering my phone or me being there for her through everything. And guess what? She changed that, and that's what people do. They're gonna brag about it, or they're gonna talk about it to somebody, and it's gonna be word of mouth because people talk, and it's gonna get around. And then so the next person, you may be like, okay, this time I'm not lowering my standard, and maybe that person came in contact with that ex-friend, or you know, they are friends with your friend, or whatever the situation is. Who cares? But my point is, they're going to be like, well, you let so-and-so get away with this, or you changed it for so-and-so, so why I got to live up to it? And it's a snowball effect. And you're never going to get completely what you want if you don't stand up for your standards. Nobody can tell you what your standards are. And if you allow it, then you might as well just let somebody else control your life, because that's what you're going to do. And in every situation, you're going to be put up with something different because you're constantly doing this with your standards. Standards are supposed to be strong. No, I am not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with you talking to me like that. I'm not okay with you treating me like that. You have to know what that standard is, and you have to stand by it, just like you know who you are, just how you stand by your body every day. You're in your body every day, you know, and you dress it, you keep it, you know, concealed, so that you're not walking out the house naked. So you need to make sure that you have that same level of protection and covering over yourself when it comes to your morals and what you stand for, what your standards are. People will respect you if you stand on your standards. They may think you the worst person in the world. They may think you're a jerk. They may think you're mean. They may think you just think you all that. But honey, I promise you, at the end of the day, they're going to respect you, because you're not a person that's going to weave and wave off of, you know, off of like letting someone else control what your standards should be, or to break down your level of standard. They're going to know to take you seriously, and that's how it should be. People should be like, I'm not going to do that because I know that he or she doesn't like to do that. I'm not going to ask them to that because I know that he or she isn't going to go for it. They should automatically know that based off of their experience from you. They shouldn't say, well, if I ask just enough times, they're going to give in. If I pursue just a little bit, they're going to do this and that for me. If I make a gesture this way, they're going to melt in my hands. Like you need to not be that person. You need to know that you have your standards for your life, and they have their standards for their life. Now, if y'all standards are clashing, then y'all just not compatible. You're not compatible with anything. You're not compatible to be friends, compatible to be together, whatever it is. But you should always be able to walk away feeling full because you stood on your standards. This is what my standards are. This is what I'm willing to put up with. This is what I'm not willing to put up with. This is what I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm not willing to tolerate. This is the decisions, the biggest decisions that I'm making for my life, what I want, what makes me happy, what I feel would make me happy, what I feel is pleasing to my higher power, what I feel is protecting me. And you just need to stand on it. Don't let anybody change it. Don't let anybody manipulate you. Don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong, because they have their standards and not just at his hand. If you're giving in to your, bowing down to them, giving your power away, letting them tell you what to do and what standards you should have, not just as at a 10, that person's not going to do the same for you. So why would you do it for them? Why would you buckle down and do things that you may not feel comfortable with doing or saying or behaving in such ways just because they asked you to? It's not fair. You need to know that you are accountable for you, you are responsible for you, and your standards matter. And nobody can change that. And you need to not change it. I mean, you go through changes in life, that's normal. But if you change it, know that you're changing it because you're changing it, not because you want to please somebody else, not because you want friends, or not because you want a certain relationship. Because the right people who are going to respect you and who are going to respect those boundaries and respect those standards that you have set, not preferences, but standards that you set for your life, are going to come. They're going to come. All you're going to do is just weed out the ones that are just not meant to be in your life long term anyway. So just keep that in mind. Y'all let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, become one of my friends. Subscribe to my channel. We could talk. And like my video if you liked it. If you enjoyed it, share it. And we'll talk next time. Bye.